that's happened.
Thank you. Everyone likes this logo better than what they have now.
You've moved Taylor Hall around a little bit. Where do you see his game right now? Because the points are not really coming easily.
Yeah, I think, Taylor, the production hasn't been there. But oddly enough, our scoring chances, he's third most 5-on-5 in the last 10 game segment, so he's getting looks. And I think it's normal when an offensive player who's relied on for production like he is with us, they know that they're here to produce. So, it can become like too much and they start thinking about results too much. And, hey, Taylor and I have had some real healthy conversations. We actually just had one. And he's in a real good place. Everybody kind of needed the break, everybody's re-energized and I think everyone's excited to play again. At the end, it was becoming, I think when an 8-day break is coming, it seems like mentally you get more tired before the break. And I think we're just in a much better place as a team. Everybody, staff included.
Do you think that line with him in Coyle and that third line is kind of a comfort zone for him, or has become a comfort zone for him?
Well, I just really like the chemistry there. I mean, the last game in Toronto, switched to that. I don't know if it was in the first period or for sure the second period. And they just seem to give us an edge that on a third line when you have, Coyle and Hall on your third line. That's a huge advantage, and that's the depth that, when you look at what Taylor Hall was producing, like our team was really dominant. And it was 5-on-5 play. It wasn't, he was scoring power play goals and all that. But that ability to have those two players on your third line really makes you dangerous.
You ever pick up on higher stress levels from the players as you get closer to the trade deadline? And have you at any point ever had a conversation with a player because you felt like it was sort of a distraction for them?
I have not had a conversation with a player. I have seen players pack bigger suitcases on trips, on different teams I've been on. It is a stressful time, for everybody. Not only the players that think that, they wonder if they're going to be around. Obviously, it's hard on them. It's hard on people's families, but it's like, with the great culture we have here, we really care about each other. And when you care about someone, you don't want to see anybody go. And so it impacts everybody.
What was it like for you as a player?
I went through waivers 5 times. I got a trade option. So, no, it wasn't.
After seeing Jake today at practice, satisfied with where he's at, and you're targeting maybe Dallas instead of Nashville, or does that change?
He's. We knew from his previous images, like his conditioning, everything with his rehab, except what we need to see. Like his thumb's 100%. It's just we haven't seen the imaging yet that will say we're comfortable putting him back in. We don't want to really. The same thing's going to be with Nosen. We don't want to take a risk, right? And so we knew before we played Toronto that he wasn't, like the day we were playing Toronto, we got the last imaging. We knew he wasn't going to be ready for Saturday. We're hoping for Tuesday, but again, we're not going to take any chances. And if he's not ready for Nashville, we won't go then either. But we do think it should be by Nashville, because I think that gets the 6 weeks that day. So that's the thought. But he's not there yet medically.
Is Nosen skating, or is he still on skates?
Skated one day, and didn't go well, so he's off ice until we're going to wait a little bit.
Coach, just to follow up there on DeBrusk, I don't know how much you're allowed to tell us, but how much pain was he in that third period? And then to see him, if he wasn't a lot, probably go out and do what he did, what did that say about him?
Substantial amount of pain. Not only both injuries, thumb and the leg. It's pretty remarkable the toughness he showed to come through in a big moment like that. I don't know if you guys, I think I watched behind the media the other day, he couldn't walk up the stairs. He was using his stick like a cane.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's 4 minutes after he scored the game-winning goal. And coaching by me, I had him out there in the last minute. So I was not aware that he was hurting as well.
Were you aware of any conversations he might have had with the training staff or whatnot? Did he express any type of pain to you guys during
Well, we
this?
were aware of the thumb, we weren't aware of the leg,
Yeah.
like, nobody was. You know, like, he had discomfort, yes, but it literally happened 8 seconds before he scored the tying goal, and then your adrenaline goes in, like, it's amazing what adrenaline can do. You get a little dopamine effect going through your body, and your testosterone picks up, like, what you can manage through in a big moment like that. Like, you got 40,000 Bruins fans defending the court cheering you on, like, it's a pretty high, pretty good emotional high.
What did you think of the way Lauko played against Toronto and just in general where his game's at in terms of being able to help his team when called upon?
I think, you know, everything we've talked about with him is tremendous. Like, he's competitive. Like, that wall, he wins that wall battle. That takes a lot of courage. That's the hardest play for a winger in the game of hockey, is taking that play with a defenseman crashing down on him. Not only does he take it, but he actually makes a support play to the middle. And then the speed off that play to beat his check up the ice, you know, speed kills. And it doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. And he uses it really well. Like, his next play speed, what I'm talking about is he makes the play and he jumps. He doesn't make the play and watch. He's gone, you know? And that's what good hockey players do.
Coach Zacha was having a really good stretch there right before the break, and I was just talking to him about his season, and you know, he just kept going back to Krejci and how much of an influence he's had on him, and just playing with him, learning from him. What's that like as a coach for you to see, you know, a younger player sort of mentored, I guess?
You know, I guess it goes back to our culture, right? It's just a great culture. I think everybody gets better. It doesn't matter who you are. You get better when you're a Boston Bruin.
And what have you thought of his eagerness to learn on and off the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think his willingness to get better has had a huge impact in his development, and it's helped the Bruins.
One question, go back to your college coaching days. When you were recruiting players for Denver, did you ever have any overlap with kids that were interested in Harvard going east?
I think maybe one or two, yeah. There was a couple of kids that, like, we were recruiting, and they said we saw their transcript. You ain't going Harvard. Yeah, you might want to come take a look at Denver. Everybody, like, it's obviously the school's reputation is fantastic, and deservedly so. And I think a lot of people, you know, want to go there. It's hard to get in.
Well, it's hard, right, because of the admissions and then there's no scholarships. And then to have a competitive program like that, did you look at it from back west and say, oh, geez, that'd be a tough thing to do to lead a program?
No, I didn't think that. I mean, they get really good hockey players. I think there was 3 All-Stars about the Harvard last week.
You had an extra hand out there dropping pucks, and was that anything behind that, or just giving, looked like maybe Sean?
Yeah, Sean was
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, and just because we wanted information from the coaches to be behind the benches to give information to the players, you know, kind of coaching as they're going along.
So it was more about kind of connecting that a little bit more.
More feedback, just getting back to our habits, reinforcing what we think works for us, to our identity.
It's like an out of the break thing, basically.
Yeah, it's out of the break thing, exactly.
When
Kind
you
of like
think-
the 2-day mini camp, right? Yesterday was more about offense, today was more about defense.
When you think of Ovechkin chasing Gretzky's goals record, what stands out to you just about his career or that record?
I guess his greatness and the longevity of it. Like, you'd think he'd be slowing down. He's not slowing down. You know, it's amazing. His dedication to his craft, how special he is at what he does. It's really impressive to witness. It's not often you are in an era where you see someone chasing Wayne. I never thought anyone would chase Wayne Gretzky's records. Here we are. That's attribute to him.
This is going back a ways, but when you played in Russia, did you hear about a young?
Yeah, I actually played against him.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did that go?
I crushed him, I laid him out. You know, what was funny was I remember was we were a game at home, and I don't really remember, so I think we won 3-2 or 4-2. And he got into an argument with our fans. I remember him slashing at the glass. The fans were reaching out because it was a short glass. He'd hold on his jersey or something. I remember him turning around and be like, who's got temper?
It's gonna be
I never really seen that
MSG
since.
situation.
Yeah, right.
MSGs. So was there a buzz about him? I'm assuming
Yeah.
you had to.
But they were saying this is the greatest younger player, greatest youngest player in Russia right now. Like he's the next, Bure, they were saying.
Did you get a sense of the shot that he unleashed it on you
I
guys?
couldn't believe how big he was. Like he was 17, turning 18 now. It was his draft year. And I couldn't get over how big he was.
He wanted to crush people too, back then.
Yeah, he was a man-child out there in a real good league. The other interesting story was Malkin played for this Magnitogorsk team. We played against them, Dmitry, forgetting the guy's name right now. Played in Washington.
Kristich?
Dmitry Kristich. He was the #1 center on the team, and we were up on him 2-1 after 2 periods. And the coach sat Kristich's line, their #1 line. And out pops this kid with a cage on, and he was literally 5'11" at the time. And I'm like, oh Jesus, he's flying backhand sauce, forehand sauce, he's making plays. He didn't play a shift in the first 2 periods. And I said, it was a Canadian goalie on the other team after the game. I said to him, who's that kid? I go, I can't believe you sat out Kristich's line, but who's the kid? He's great. He goes, some kid like Malkin. He's gonna be good. He grew too.
Ken?
Good.